Hello and welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. I am Karen.
Tina. Karen Jones the fifth.
Karen Jones the fifth. So, I'm a big movie
Can-
buff. What do you think about Indiana Jones 5?
I had heard they were remaking a new one, but isn't
Remaking a new one?
Harrison Ford like isn't he like 85 years old or something like that?
Do you think this will be like a symbolic passing of the torch, or is this like going to be like a legitimate Indiana Jones movie where he does flips with his whip and such, which would be ridiculous, but.
I just watched Rambo, part of Rambo Last Blood, which kind of ends the series.
Is that
It
the
was all right.
Is that okay? So, what do you think it is about all these aging '80s action stars, and they have to make these new movies when they're in their '70s and '80s? Who's watching
Those same people.
that? I do.
I think there's a movement by those people to try and bring back like the 80s action movies,
Well,
maybe not.
yeah, I can't speak too much, but I do know one guy in particular who's like 51 years old. He hates superhero movies. He hates Marvel, and he loves old '80s action movies. So he says, "I want to see the new Rambo movie. I want to see the new Arnold Schwarzenegger." And never dies. This like, do you think that like in like 20 years time we're gonna see like a whole generation of superhero movies in their '80s or '60s?
um that would be something.
We can't see it with Iron Man or Captain America, right?
I mean, they've redone Spider-Man enough.
Definitely.
Um
What do you think about the new Spider-Man trailer?
it was good. I just saw Venom 2
Oh, really? How was that?
last weekend or weekend before.
I never saw the first Venom because so many people hated it.
I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, so I have to watch it. Plus,
It's
Venom is genuinely funny in a very corny way.
well, I do like Carnage from the comics and from the old '90s cartoon show.
Yeah, yeah.
And Woody Harrelson's Carnage sounds awesome. So
Oh yeah, he's good. He
yeah,
plays the role well.
okay,
But it's just funny,
it's
and
funny.
it's not like too overly complicated, and it's not an origin story anymore. So
Yeah, origin
that's what I
stories get
appreciate it.
yeah team ups and origin stories. That's like 90% of superheroes. Something really original. I really am looking forward to the new Spider-Man movie. They haven't confirmed whether Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in it or not.
Heavily suggested though.
Right. And like I think like a fan basically approached Tobey Maguire, asked him if you're in it, and he smiled and he said he couldn't tell him, but you'll be pleased. You'll be very happy, kind
Hmm.
of thing. Confirmed but not confirmed, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, kind of up in the air.
So
I do think the reason why we keep seeing these sequels and remakes is partly because of Hollywood doesn't want to gamble on doing something new.
oh, that's been true for
And
a while. Yeah.
well, and most of Hollywood's owned by bigger production studios now, so they have to go with what they think will make money. Plus, these older people just have this nostalgia and they just keep watching these movies. So
But you
I think
and
that's
you
kind of
like
what's going
indie
on.
movies. You like small productions, don't you?
Yeah, just rewatched Samurai Cop the other night.
Yeah. We got to make a list for Halloween. What we're gonna watch. This would be good. I found one movie that's not really horror esque, but it's really, really like The Room almost.
Oh, okay.
What was it called? It's like it's this guy. It's like a psychic. This guy who can't act. He's the Tommy Wiseau of his film. He wrote it, directed it, and starred in it, and it's horrible. But I think the whole thing is he's a person who grew up with psychic abilities, and like when he was a kid, he was a psychic. But then the abilities went away, and then they came back later in life, and now he's using his psychic abilities to help people and solve mysteries, and it's horrible.
Kind of Scooby Doo esque, but they have psychic powers in order to solve mysteries.
Scooby Doo with psychics.
There's this movie I just heard about called Love Liza. Stars Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think it's supposed to be
Really?
a serious movie, but the guy has a problem, and whenever he gets like stressed out, he has to huff gas.
I like little tidbits in that in movies, but anyways, um, oh, Well, I could talk to you about this off the air because me and my wife have been watching a lot of horror movies, and one horror movie you're into it, like really good horror, not like cheesy horror, is a movie called Orphan.
I don't know.
Okay, so it was like two movies we watched last night. We watched *Malignant*, which has been like promoted by HBO. It's made by the same guy who makes *The Conjuring* and *Insidious*.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
I think I've seen Insidious. I haven't seen
No,
Conjuring.
no, but *Malignant*, the newest one, the one that
Uh,
HBO is promoting. That one, it's not very good.
yeah. I've been
But
wanting to watch the new Candyman remake.
yeah, I would watch that, and I would watch a. We have a lot of movies on our list, but *Orphan* was a movie that was not on our list. We just sort of browsed and found it, and it is good. It's from like the
All
mid
right, all
2000s,
right.
and like I guess it was on. It's good. Like
It's good. Okay.
legitimately creepy and sets an atmosphere. It's really creepy.
Is it kind of like an Omen sort of orphan situation?
No, it's actually no. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's not like supernatural as much as you might think. It's just about like they adopt this couple adopt a girl, and she's way more trouble than they originally expected because they thought she was this like perfect little girl, but she's not. She's got history.
Yeah,
She's
problem.
got issues. Yeah. So, anyways. But yeah, the people do not want to watch us talk movies for the next half hour. They want to see us react.
They want to look at your new beard you're growing out there. Got a real kind of like transcendentalist beard.
I know
From
it's all
the
mud. It's all
mid
it's neck
19th
beard.
century.
It's neck. Just don't
Is
try
that
to
what you're going for?
don't try to church it up. It's neck beard. It's fucking Andrew Luck country.
Oh, okay. Who's that one guy?
Kyle
Uh,
Orton.
Orton. Yeah,
Yeah,
going
yeah.
for the Orton.
I'm going for the Orton look.
I
It's
like
all down here. Yep.
it. How's your wife like it?
She likes my beard. Yeah, she
Yeah?
doesn't mind
Okay.
it. No. I don't know. It's a miracle that she's attracted to me. I don't get it at all. All right, but we're gonna react to this video.
Theme.
This is from Jubilee. I like Jubilee. They make a lot of content that's thought provoking and kind of interesting at the same and sort of middle of the ground, kind of even keel kind of stuff. So that's why I like them a lot. But they have this video series where people from different walks of life come to discuss issues called Middle Ground. And this one we're going to be reacting to is called Can City Teens and Country Teens See Eye to Eye? So, what do you expect to see in this video?
I expect them to try to see eye to eye, but they're gonna start out in very different positions.
Now, you grew up more in the country, but your entire adult life you lived in the city. So, how would you probably who would you probably relate to more at this point?
Oh man, I don't even know if I could say grew up in the country. Like
Suburban to rural, kind of. It's a forest area.
it's a weird kind of mix, you know.
Well,
I
yeah, but
mean,
it was like kind of a residential community, but you were also miles from the nearest store, weren't you?
yeah, and there were some farms, not a whole lot, but I was near the water too, so.
Okay, so I consider country anything that's outside of suburbia. It's
Mhm.
it's the idea that you're in. It could be a forested area, it could be a farmland area, it could be anything, could be a mountainous area. But the idea that like, if you have to drive more than 10 minutes to get to the nearest grocery store, I feel like it's more rural than not. And it's like, or
Okay.
10 minutes on the highway, really.
Yeah, but you do bring up a good point. I have lived in the city about a third of my life now.
Yeah.
And that's probably how I would identify myself more,
Okay.
you
So
know,
you
being an
actually
adult.
feel like you empathize more with city folk now.
Uh, yeah, I don't think people in the country have that many opinions.
All right. Well, we're gonna see what
They
they're gonna
they
do.
usually don't like when city people intrude on their way of life.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
that's pretty much a given. Um, I as someone I don't know if I've ever lived in rural areas, but
Mhm.
as having known a lot of people who've grown up that way, they just generally these kind of people just generally want to be left alone. Um, they like their privacy. They like not to be disturbed. And they're very much self-reliant people. They don't like depending on others that much.
Mhm.
Whereas city people, they're very happy with the idea of a community depending on one another. Like, so like one of the things I remember hearing about is like the reason why like the country people are very, not to get too political, but are very Second Amendment pro-gun is because when you call the police, the nearest sheriff is not right around the corner. They're going to be like 15, 20 minutes away. So you got to protect yourself. Versus in the city, you call the cops. They're probably, I don't know. I can't really say what it's like in most cities, but especially nowadays. But I'd say the cops probably there 5 to 7 minutes as soon as you call. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Never had to call the cops before, luckily.
I have. It depends. If you just tell them you had a theft, it'll be about an hour. If you say you feel your life's, in danger, maybe they'll be there a little bit sooner.
Have you had to call the cops to say you thought your life was in danger?
No, we just tell them that if we think we need them there quicker.
Well, what incident provoked that?
I just usually when we get like a team of people trying to steal stuff, then it can be a little. Actually, I just caught someone stealing 2 weeks ago, and I pulled up his shirt to take out the thing he was stealing, and noticed a gun tucked in his pants.
Oh shit!
Yeah. And he was like cool about it because there was a lot of people and there's a lot of cops outside. So he's like, it'd be cool, man, be cool. As we're like walking him out the door.
Oh, wow. Okay, geez.
Yeah, that was the first incident of anything like that.
Okay.
But generally, if we want to generally calling the police is just a big waste of time. They have to like file a lot of reports and nothing really ever comes of it. So
I do remember last year, or it might have been 2 years ago. I don't know if time's fly. 2020 and 2021 are the same year to me. So 2 years ago, I remember like every house on our block got broken into. The cars and not the houses themselves, but the cars on our block got broken into. So did mine. Nothing got stolen. But I came home that day, and a cop was coming home, and he's taking a report from everyone, and I talked to him briefly, and he says, like, you can file, he said to me, just verbatim, and as, like, so matter-of-fact as you can be, it's like, you can file a report if you want, but I'm going to be honest with you, we're not going to catch him. You could do it for insurance purposes, but, like, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I understand that's probably the truth, but can't you just humor me a little bit? Can't you say, we're going to get this guy. We're going to fucking, like, we had, like, 4. What was it from Big Lebowski? Is like when, like, Lebowski asked the cop, he's like, you going to find these guys? Yeah, we got 4 more detectives working the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just let me buy into the illusion a little bit?
At least let me feel like you guys are doing something. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Anyways. We're going to start this video, but I need to refresh my drink, so we're going to pause, and then we'll start the video.
All right.
And we're back. So let's get into the video, and let's see what we find.
Let's see. Is this guy a city person or a country person?
No. This guy's the host. We're skipping right
past
okay. Actually,
Still, though.
He's not even the host, really. He just basically introduces the video and does an ad, but I already skipped through that, so...
Every single year of my sex education, we had to sign an abstinence vow in our books. We actually had a teacher get written up because she taught the girls' sex ed class how to put on a condom.
That's an interesting open.
This guy looks like a country person that became a city person.
Yeah, I know, with the nose ring, right?
Yeah, but then when you listen to what he says, that sounds not so city-like.
Well, I don't know. We haven't even seen what side. Maybe he was actually one of the city people who moved from the country. I don't know. But like what he said was very much, I imagine, a country. Okay.
My name is Jeremy. What I love about being in the country is being in that bubble.
I'm just gonna Jeremy with an I there. Oh my god. They could have picked anyone to represent country teens. I don't know if this is the most representative guy. I'm just saying, he's got an Apple Watch, he's got a nose ring, and he spells his name Jeremy with an I in the middle, which means I don't know what that means, but
maybe he moved from the city though.
Maybe, but like, let's hear.
He is from South Carolina, so
okay, but maybe like, what's the most progressive place in South Carolina?
Probably Charleston.
Fine, maybe he's from Charleston. I don't know.
People that you know and you care about.
One of the misconceptions is people in the city think that people in the country are like less educated.
When I hear city teens, I think of party people.
Okay, so those are our 3 country teens. We had
Okay.
one guy who says it's more community. We had one girl who says that the city people think we're uneducated. And we had one girl who said the city people are just party people. Those are the first statements. Nothing too shocking so far, right?
No, not at all.
Other than Jeremy spells his name with an I for some fucking reason. Well, I'm really curious to hear more from him. Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess we meet our city kids now.
My name's Mandy. I am from LA, and I love it because of the character. One second you're seeing someone, a model, walking down the sidewalk. The next, a homeless man is peeing on the ground.
Real Angelo right there.
What?
An Angelo, born and raised in LA.
Oh, Angelo. I didn't know that's what they were called, but that was an amazing first statement.
The disparity is quite amazing.
I really love seeing a model walking down the street and a homeless person defecating on the sidewalk.
Just screams equality.
Oh no. If you actually look at you ever heard of something called the Gini coefficient? The Gini coefficient. It's a
What's that?
economic measurement of disparity and income inequality.
Mm-hmm.
And this would not surprise you, but the places with the highest income inequality are always very, very large metropolitan progressive areas like New York, San Francisco, Seattle.
That's
Usually top
I was
the
being
list.
sarcastic.
Okay, yes. No, if you want to find economic equality, you go to West Virginia.
They'll pay you $10,000 to move there.
Is that right? It's got the Alaska status now?
It's one of the only states that has a dwindling population because they're just so old and dying. So
Yeah.
they're trying to get incentive for people to move there.
West Virginia is an interesting place for sure, but it's definitely no one would use the phrase growing. I don't know. I mean, it might be one of the few states that are declining, but I think that's going to change in the future. There's going to be a lot of
might
states.
have to change.
Well, I've seen a lot of states in terms of migration patterns, and some states are going to be dying over the course of the next 10 years, I think. Anyways,
When I hear
so I want to hear okay.
country teen, I just assume they kind of just don't have a lot of experience with people from different walks of life.
Okay.
In the city, I've always felt included. I've always had a friend group and people to relate to.
All right, I hate ads. It's worth investing in YouTube Premium, I think, at this point. I think YouTube, and no, it was a move made by YouTube. They think we're going to increase our ads to an annoying level so that people just have to buy Premium. But I'm getting to the point where I
You getting
fucking
to that
hate
point?
it. I really hate them.
I know one person that's done it.
It's working. They've worked. It succeeded. They've made their platform so unbearably unusable to the regular person that people have to buy Premium.
Yeah.
I was watching a video from this channel I follow, which does a lot of horror and paranormal stuff and investigations or whatever. I enjoy the crap out of it, and I swear to God, it was a 25-minute video. I think I had 9 or 10 commercial breaks.
Jesus.
I know, it was unbearable, and whatever.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I noticed with younger people, they find ads more and more annoying. They can't stand them.
Well, I mean, understandably so. No one likes to be sold. No one likes to be manipulated. But to recount what our city teens said, we got this girl who said she likes the huge disparities in what you can see on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, this guy who said, what did he say? He thought that these people were inexperienced. They just don't know as much, I guess. And you had her who feels like she's included and feels comfortable in any
Wearing cowboy boots.
It's not cowboy boots. I don't know. Fucking. This guy's wearing sandals. This
That's
is
true.
This Jeremy.
Birkenstocks, though. That's different.
Jeremy, god damn it. I do not think Jeremy's going to be representative. I'm more curious what these two say. All right.
Okay.
But all right. What do you think about what the city teens thought about the country teens?
I think it was toned down. I think they didn't even give much thought to them at all.
In your experience, I don't know, imagine that a lot of the city people talked about country people, but when the conversation does come up, what is sort of the general vibe?
If we do talk about people in the country,
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think they really do. They just talk about like these people from that state, you know.
They're talking about states, not so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
rural versus urban. Okay.
I guess we can talk about like Eastern Washington, but
I guess. Or as they like to call themselves, Western Idaho.
yeah.
All right.
If you agree, city teens are bitchier than country teens.
Who's going Oh, wow. Powerful. Oh, this dude. Oh,
Well,
shit.
Of course.
4 of the 6 all agreed with
Wow.
city teens are bitchier than country teens. And look who stood back look who stood back. Just gonna say this.
The two bitches. Oh,
My
no,
man
they can-
Jeremy fucking stood back. He thinks country bitches are fucking bitchy. All right, I'm really curious about this guy. I swear,
He's the outlier.
he might be the most interesting person in the room.
He might be.
All right,
Let's see though.
but we had 4 people who agreed with the statement. Let's hear them. All right.
Well, of course, city teens are more bitchier than. Sorry, mom and dad. Of course, city teens are more bitchier than country teens because you guys have so much more to deal with.
It's just kind of a
More to
I think
deal
she's
with.
right.
You think so? What do you
I
think that
think-
city teens have to deal with more than country?
Just more like inner city travel, getting from place to place, interacting more with people that you don't know. Also, just if you're like in like these teens are probably in high school, they have to. There's just a lot more people in their
I'll
high
say
schools.
this: they all look like 21 to 25.
They do.
But that's Hollywood in general, right? But
They
Okay.
probably selected them to look a little bit more relatable, both to teens and adults watching the video.
all right.
rule out of safety where you don't even make eye contact with anyone because then you're putting yourself at risk because there's unfortunately a lot more bad people that are willing to do bad things in the city.
Can the
I've heard that. I heard that from my cousins from Kauai when they first came back after a number of years.
Because Kauai is much more what?
It's
Less
I mean,
touristy, less city.
it's probably as touristy, but the locals probably interact less with the tourists. So
Okay.
um,
Well, this girl seems to be, if I would say so, in the same way that Jeremy is dissing on country people. I think this girl is going to be the girl who's going to be dissing on city people.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think these two girls are going to be very defensive of country, and this guy's going to be like, no. And then I think this girl is going to be the one who's shitting on city.
Okay, she's gonna be the self-loathing city teen.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, this guy dreams of living in the city. This girl dreams of living in the country. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Okay.
I disagree or step forward?
Can you disagree, step forward? Yeah.
I want to say I'm a selfless person. I'm a nice person. However, you know, I have that bitchy side.
He's the bitch. No. Hear what he said. The question was, country teens are more, city teens are more bitchy than country teens. He sits down and he says, I'm really bitchy. He wasn't even thinking about women. He was just thinking himself. He's a bitch.
If you were to go just based on drivers, you know, who would you say are bitchier drivers, city people or country people?
I would say Washington people.
Okay.
No, I got a friend who's from the Midwest, and he says all the time, like, it's not city. Well, it doesn't say city or country. He just talks about, like, Western drivers, Washington, Oregon, California people are just so slow that it drives you crazy. Because, like, he uses a phrase called the Pittsburgh left. So did you know, like, in Pittsburgh, the norm is that someone's going to cut you off while if you have your solid green, which means you have to yield to oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
No.
No.
You go. You just go.
Just go.
That's called a Pittsburgh left,
All right.
at least in his point of view. But, like, yeah, he's upset with Western drivers in general, just saying, like, they're slow as hell.
I wonder why. There's longer stretches of highway in in the West.
I think it's just a cultural thing. I think Western states in general are just considered much more polite and kind of Canadian almost. If I think of another word, I can't. But just like this, you go. No, you go. No, I insist. You go. And then you just both drive yourself crazy.
And then everyone's stuck in traffic.
Exactly. So whereas like I think East Coast drivers are probably much more aggressive. They're just like, I got to get from A to B as fast as possible. If I don't run someone over, that's a good day. But
All right.
He's the bitch. He's the bitchy teen. So
Me coming out as like a bitch is now just me making sure you know who I am and how I am going to run my things.
In the city,
so he sees bitch as like sort of an take charge sort of way.
Yeah, someone who complains a lot or has to get their way in order,
How do you see the word bitch? Do you see it more as like a take charge person, or do you see it more as someone who just complains about stuff?
I think it's meant to be someone.
I would agree. I think it is
complains.
the complaint. Yeah, it's someone who complains about all this stuff. Like no one uses that word empoweringly, so except for the people who get called constantly bitch.
Especially, I don't think men self-identify as bitchy.
Not this guy does.
But women will do it in like an empowering way.
I have a friend who has a sticker that says bitch. Is like babe in total control of herself. And I said to her, okay, so when I call you bitch, it's a compliment.
Might be.
Oh, you got Matt behind you.
Yep, Matt's behind me.
Hi, Matt.
He says adios.
Adios.
All
right.
But yeah, I do think it's meant, if people self-identify as a bitch, it's supposed to be like, oh, I'm in charge of what I do. So
yeah. So
maybe country people are less likely to self-identify as bitchy.
Well, that's what I'm saying about this guy. This guy does not strike me as like a representative of country. I could have picked, I don't know, and off the back of my head, I know like 10, 15 people who would be better representative of country people than this kid. It's hard to call him a kid because I keep looking at them and I think they're all like 25. But they're supposed to be teens, so.
Supposedly. Maybe they self-identify as teens.
Well done. All right. So.
like even just driving, everyone else is so like selfish and self-important where they're getting where they want to be, even if they're putting other people in danger.
I almost had a heart attack this morning when so many cars, like especially like in the city, they'll just cut you off. The drivers, they don't care at all. So I'm like, okay, so that's normal.
People learn more practical life skills in the country.
Agree or disagree?
I think we just went over driving.
Well, I would say agree. I think when we talked about this before the video began, the idea of self-reliance is really important to country people, as opposed to city people. Not so much, in my mind.
Yeah, more community-based, but
much more the idea that you're always the things you need are always accessible to you. Versus in country, they're going to tell your country parents are going to tell you, there's no one coming to help you, so you got to help yourself, kind of.
Yeah, more self-reliant.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think? So more people are going to agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think even city people would agree with that.
All right. It's probably all six then, right? All right, we got two.
I grew up in a huge family of like 8
Only
siblings,
3?
and we've always
Oh, okay.
lived on a farm, and I've had a lot of like life skills. Like now I know about plumbing and like water tanks and different things that I can now use in like my adulthood, like now that I'm not living at home.
My hometown specifically, the upstate South Carolina, is considered like industrial, so we have a lot of factories. So they teach you a lot of very practical hands-on skills, woodwork, auto parts, auto body. In my opinion, AAA is not going to help you in the country.
Yeah.
Not going off.
Okay, so he lives in a more industrial area. Would you consider that country?
Yeah. Once again, anything outside of major urban areas is country to me, except for suburbia. That's not country.
What about like Rust Belt area?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
like Gary, Indiana, or
Did you watch like Dave Chappelle's? No, Gary, Indiana is like an urban. Well, that's like a blue collar kind of urban
that's
area.
what I'm saying is like.
Well, industrial isn't necessarily mean to like that doesn't mean like it's a highly populated area. You can have I don't know, maybe you're right. You could be right about that actually. Did you ever watch Dave Chappelle's special where he talked about like buckshot birdshot thing? That was funny.
Remind me.
Okay, so Dave Chappelle says he lives in rural Ohio. That's where he lives. And like some tweaker busted into his house one time apparently, and after that moment he says, "Okay, I got to get a gun." And so he goes to a gun shop in rural Ohio as a black man, he says. And like there's a white, a bunch of white people behind the counter, old white people. And he goes, "I need a gun that can kill a man." Or I don't know exactly what he says, but then like the guy behind the counter just like he says, "Well, this here is called a bird shot. That won't kill a man." And then he brings out the buckshots. But it's a whole bit just like because like Dave Chappelle thought he was going to experience a lot of prejudice for being a black guy in rural Ohio, but instead these people are just like, "Oh, you want to buy a gun? We're going to help you. We're going to help you. We're going to help you kill people." Absolutely.
This is a community.
This is a community.
Yeah.
But,
I have a coworker whose grandparents live in Yellow Springs, and they say is very active in the community. Apparently, he hits on his one of his aunts whenever they're visiting a lot.
No. Oh no. I have no count.
He has a thing for Asians.
He's got a thing for Asians. Great. I have a thing for Asians who aren't related to you. How about that? All right.
You have to learn I had to learn to change my tire multiple times before I actually fully understood
I
it.
don't know how to change my tire. I've never done it once in my life.
My dad makes sure I keep a jack in my car just in case of that.
Would you say it's more encouraged for you to do more of that trade stuff that you learn, or do they encourage you to say, "Hey, feel free to go out into the city"?
Actually, brings up a good point. Do you think that people in the city are discouraged from doing it yourself, or why do you think the country people are known as do-it-yourselfers and city people aren't? Like, do you think it's discouraged at all in the city?
I think it's still encouraged because a lot of most people in the city are still trying to make ends meet in tiny apartments. And so I think their practical life skills might be a little bit different than, say, someone in the country. Like the reason why she may not know how to change a tire is because her family doesn't own a car.
Maybe.
So,
yeah.
In order to be on time for
that's
learning.
true. But do you think it's somewhat of a class sort of argument? I mean, I agree that like people in the city are probably less likely to own a car, probably less likely to own their own house. Maybe they're probably renting an apartment or maybe whatever. All probably less likely. So that's just that tilts the scale in the countryside already. But like, do you think there's also a class issue where it's like, the people who do these sort of things, the tradespeople, that's working class people, that's beneath us. We can't do that. Do you think that there's any of that exists or not?
I don't think that it's beneath them per se, but I do think it probably is maybe more of a class thing. Yeah.
Because the way I was raised, at least, like my dad, who you would describe as having a white collar job, his mentality was totally blue collar. It's like if you have to call for help or do something that you could, in theory, do yourself, that's shameful almost. It's like you should be able to fix things yourself. That was his.
Where did he grow up?
Well, he actually grew up in, I think, Renton or Seattle.
Okay.
So,
but that before, I mean, Seattle is the city, but
well, no, yeah,
kind of more suburbia, I guess.
Renton. He grew up, I think, in Renton, but I don't know if it's a geographical thing with him, but it's more of a.
I think that might be a more generational thing.
Could be. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that millennials typically think that if you can't do a trade or a fix-it job yourself, you should have shame for it?
No, because the way things are right now, like these, you're not meant to be able to learn how to fix your iPhone
Right.
or your car. Like they're becoming so complicated, and companies want you to buy new stuff, so they make them hard for the person to fix.
I
So,
fucking hate Apple. No, I do. Planned obsolescence is, and I understand they have to make their products like sort of shanty so that they be obsolete in time, so people have to buy the new product. But like, God, I hate that. And people who give into it piss me off. You know what I'm talking about? The people who have to buy the newest iPhone every year because eventually my software is not going to be compatible with this phone and I can't do those stuff. Yeah, that's by design, guys. They're fucking with you. Stop buying them, buy different products, and then and then they lose the money, and they said, "Oh, I guess we have to make better products."
Yeah, so like in order to have the skills to fix these kind of appliances that we kind of need throughout our day now, I don't want to say they're any longer practical skills. They're more technical skills.
Carpentry and plumbing and electrical are all mostly something that I think that anyone can learn how to do. But you're right, at least with phones and maybe modern cars. But that's why people should buy old clunkers. Buy old cars. Old cars are more environmentally friendly than new cars. Just saying, they are.
Maybe
you can run them into the dirt.
We see such an explosion in home flipping, basically, because those are skills that you can learn how to do rather than like trying to fix your washing machine so you can keep using it in another 5 years.
Oh, but the basics of washing machines are the exact same basics of any mechanical engineering. You could learn it.
See,
There's
I
a motor,
broke a washing machine recently. And rather than try and send out a guy to fix the washing machine, our landlord just bought a new one for $750.
Well, that's because it's so cheap to replace. Like, this is something I've understand too as an American. Like, my wife, who is not American, comes to this country, and people do not just give away stuff. They don't because when you find like deals on Craigslist or something, washing machine $40, a new couch $20. That doesn't exist in Venezuela. People hold on to their assets. They don't ever leave them. So everything is expensive because you don't have cheap alternatives. I can go on Craigslist right now and find almost anything for under $100 that I need to live, right?
Yeah.
Washer, dryer, dishwasher, stove. I probably could find all that stuff for under $100. And will it work great? No, but it'll work, probably. I could probably find a car on Craigslist for under $500 that will run for a certain period of time, and then I just ditch it.
I don't know. Used cars though, they're still up in price.
They are lately, yes. Inflation. Right.
And learn the technology.
They give you the option, but going into the workforce was always a good option for people who maybe couldn't have afforded it and XYZ and stuff like that.
Yeah, personally, I've decided not to go to college at this moment, even though I graduated this past year. And I feel like I have enough skills to the point where I could get like jobs that don't require a 4-year degree.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I like that. I think college is a scam, and I'll tell anyone that, including my own kids.
Someone who didn't go to college, I could definitely agree. You were just overpaying for something you probably won't use. I think nowadays, only if you're getting into the real kind of doctoral, if you want to go into that sphere.
I'll tell my kids very very bluntly, if they want to study engineering or medicine, I'll help pay for their college. If they want to study almost anything else, I'm not doing it.
Business degree?
I don't think a business degree is necessary. I really don't. I think that you can start a business without going to business school. Really, you can.
Yeah.
As long as you got to work on a trade, you got to work on a skill that's something someone might want, and then market that. And you could probably learn that all on the fly. You don't need a degree.
What about lawyers?
Okay, law is another one that you probably want to do, but I wouldn't advise my kid to be lawyers. No offense, Jeremy, because they're soulless people. No offense, Jeremy, but they're soulless.
The type of person you need to be a lawyer.
You really do, really. I mean, we got to bring Jeremy back on the podcast. He's an interesting guy. I'd like to hear more from.
He's living with us for a month.
He is? Really?
Yeah, until he goes out for OCS.
Tell him hi. Also, also suck his dick for me because that's how much I love him. Just say it's from me, okay? Don't be weird about it. It's like it's from me. It's like, hey, I don't enjoy this. This is just me passing along a favor. No, I'm fucking.
Okay. I was just trying to show my soulless side.
Yeah. All right, and we're back. Sorry, I hate these ads. I gotta get rid of them. We gotta keep moving though because got a lot of video to watch in like the next 15, 20 minutes.
A big part of practical life skill is like human interaction. And I think in the city, you have a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of diverse people, different kinds of people. You have the ability to network.
Well, would you consider that social skills or practical skills?
I think social skills definitely are a practical skill.
Huh. You know, I don't know if I agree. I agree more with Jeremy on this one. Social skills. Social skills. He said that like there's a delineation between social skills and practical skills, and it's not to undercut social skills because they are important. But it's not that country people don't understand social skills; they get them. Practical skills are the things that you can do physically. I think more right. I just don't want to basically say like I don't want to like play a word game where they're the same thing. They're different.
It does seem like in order to get through life, you do need to have some set of social skills.
I'll go one
whether
better
they're
than
practical
her.
or not.
Yeah, I'll go one better than her. I think that like social skills are actually more valuable in the workplace, a lot more valuable, and in just life in general. So, I just disagree where you kind of conflate the terms. I don't like that.
Well, the saying that they're practical is, I think, it diminishes it a little bit. It's something you kind of need. If you don't really have good social skills, you know, unless you're a genius, it's getting through life is going to be a little harder.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the city, you
Oh, it's the first time we're hearing from this guy.
you learn skills that are also equally useful to living in the city. They're just not the same ones, right? Like,
I'll agree with that too, because like you take a country person, put him in, and say you have to live in the city now. Is he gonna thrive? I don't think so.
It's going to be an adjustment.
Yeah.
one thing I think about a lot is Uber. Everyone in the city knows that if something doesn't work out, something goes wrong, there's always an Uber. Assuming you have money, there's always like an option, someone you can contact. Whereas if you're in, the middle of nowhere, there's not going to be an Uber, period.
Move into
It's very true.
Yeah.
I'll say someone. I went to Flagstaff last month, and I found out, and Flagstaff's not even rural. It's like there's like almost 100, like 50. There might be 60,000 people there. It's not big, but it's not small either. I don't know what you want to say.
About the size of Gig Harbor.
Kind of, yeah, like that. Exactly. That's a good analogy. So like, but like trying to get around that city if you don't have a car, it's pretty impossible.
Still a little hard. There's no Uber.
Yeah, there's not much Uber.
Maybe there is a bus, but there's one bus.
Exactly.
Charlotte was definitely a culture shock for me. I didn't know how to use a parking meter. I charged myself 4 times on a parking meter because I didn't know how to use it.
Would you consider that a practical skill? That's the question, right? Because what is a practical skill in
Very good point. What is a practical skill?
now society? Is
Right.
it knowing how to use a parking meter? Like, that's odd to think about, right?
Exactly.
They have a thing going on.
They're like the two most controversial people on their sides.
I would say that's why they're probably having the most in common. They just like each other. It's like, yeah, country sucks. Yeah, city sucks. Let's fuck.
Naturally combative.
I think that they're like, yeah, I think I liken these two the most, Jeremy and what's her face.
And I knew that I just didn't know, and that's why I refused to even go towards the city limits.
I had sex education in school.
This will be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single year of my sex education.
Wait, why'd they switch sides?
Is it like agree, disagree? Like disagree is.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know which side.
We had to sign.
Yeah, like why did Jeremy join the city folk, and why did she? It's definitely the two. You see that?
Maybe they all agree.
They all sat down. They all had sex education. But my point is, like, Jeremy and the girl switched sides. He wants to live in the city. She wants to live in the country. But it's those two. I swear. All right. Yeah.
On an abstinence vow in our books. We actually had a teacher get written up because she taught the girls' sex ed class how to put on a condom.
I think the importance that schools place on sex education is extremely lacking. Why aren't we worried about how good of people we're going to be? Because sex education also includes, sexual assault, rape. Like once we put our mindset into, we need to educate on things.
Did anyone ever have to tell you not to rape?
Not that I know. If they did, it just, I wasn't paying attention because it was pretty obvious.
I keep hearing about this sort of thing that we need to teach consent more in schools, and I feel like it's, at least in my experience, I thought like everyone knew rape was wrong. There's just some people out there that don't care.
It might be a thing where in the past, when a girl says no, it might not mean she really means no sort of issue.
That brings up the Bill Burr bit. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Bill Burr?
I'm sure I've heard of it, yeah.
The Bill Burr, and you could do a whole reaction video to his stand-up because it's fucking hilarious. But it's like, okay, no means no. But no, stop it. Don't. You're so bad. No, that's not a fucking no. That means I want to do it, but I'm afraid you're going to judge me, so I have to say no.
Is that why social skills, are
you got to
important?
But it's the bit goes on and on. It gets even better when he goes to a court reading and then the person reads out the transcript saying, "No, stop it. Don't. You're being so bad. Don't." And then Bill Burr just shouts out, "That's not how she fucking said it."
Well, and it's the thing is a woman too, they, educating women to really, say no when you don't want to engage, or setting boundaries can be a problem.
Let's bring back sex till marriage. What do you say? That was
the abstinence vow.
I don't know, not even the abstinence vow. Just say hey, it was working when we basically just said you're married, you have sex. That's pretty straightforward. But this whole game between men and women who aren't in a relationship and they're not married and they're just sort of saying, is this a yes? Is this a no? Are we dating? Are we just friends? Are we friends with benefits? It's all fucking nonsense. And you can just say I don't know when I'm supposed to have sex with this person or not. If you're married, you can say, okay, you know what? I can always pretty much have sex.
Do you believe you can be raped when you're married?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
But I'm just saying the rule, the disagreements and the rules are probably not what's going to get you into trouble. Well,
yeah.
Rape is rape. Everyone knows what rape is. But marriage, you have a certain set of rules and expectations and understanding where you know what the rules are. And you don't have that in a hookup culture where you meet a girl at a bar and you don't know what her expectations are. You don't know what her rules are. And you're just trying to figure that out on the fly.
What about when they brought up sexual assault?
Once again, I'm happy.
Is that something we need to be educated about?
Once again, I never needed it. I knew it was wrong to touch people without their permission. But I don't know. Do you think that kids nowadays would need that? Or did you always have a sense that it's wrong to touch people without their permission?
I mean, as far as there's the safe areas to touch, shoulders.
I won't even do that.
Arm.
I fucking won't do that. I don't like to be touched, so therefore I wouldn't touch. It's easy for
That's
me.
true.
I'm easy that way. Yeah.
Some people are different, though.
That's the people I don't want to do. I'm so lucky I'm married, in other words, because being single nowadays sucks.
It's fine.
All right.
It's not just science, math, reading. That's how you create better students. That's how you create better people.
My parents wanted to have me learn it from them because my family's very Christian, that everyone has a different view of how they think about sex. So I think sometimes it's important to have parents teach that to kids. I don't know if it should solely be on schools.
Okay, now the conversation of should sex be taught in schools has been brought up. Now, this is a conversation I thought was settled 2 decades ago, but in other areas, not so much.
I mean, I never had a sex education with my parents. They never really talked to me about it.
Really?
They grew up in the church, so you weren't expected to have sex until, marriage.
Would you have wanted them to give you a sex education, your parents?
Probably not, no.
No? So you think you're better off with the school?
I mean, it's that or you get it from TV
Oh, no, that's the worst place to get it.
or your other friends,
Still one of the worst places to get it. Like, don't you think it would be better to get a sex education, key on the word education, from a authority figure adult? Maybe?
Seems that way. I mean, my dad was engaged a few times before he met my mom.
Oh, was that right?
Oh, yeah.
What happened with those ones? Why
She's not supposed to know. Thankfully, I don't think she'll ever watch this.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you really? That's a secret that your mom doesn't know about your father?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm never supposed to tell her.
Oh, my God. Wow. That's big. Big to say.
Well, and my mom, she had a kid.
And wouldn't you
before
know
me.
that this is the one? We're
Yeah,
going to talk about that, but that kind of caught me off guard. But I was about to say, imagine that this is the one video that we do that finally goes viral, and then the whole world sees.
I know. Hey, mom. Even then, I don't.
Wait, your mom had a child before you? Do you have a half brother or half sister?
No. Well, she was on some homecoming thing when she was in high school.
Oh.
She may have not been educated, ended up having, getting pregnant, and she decided to go through with the birth. But they found out that the kid had Down syndrome. It was a girl, and she ended up giving it up for adoption. But I think she died soon after that.
Oh my God,
So-
man, that's not what I expected to hear tonight. Wow.
Yeah. My mom, she never told any of us until both of us were in our 20s, my sister and I.
Wow. So you had a older sibling who died before you even met them.
Oh, well before, yeah.
Wow.
We had always kind of known she went through something when she was younger,
just
but
never
it was
told you
never
guys?
fully explained or talked about.
How did you pick up on it? You just knew there was something there?
Conversations just stop at certain points.
Right.
Like
Okay.
why was this going on or something like that.
Well, God damn, man. That's
Yeah, sex education may have been different.
Do you think that was the case, that she just didn't know any better? Or do you think that
It's what my grandparents thought.
your grandparents thought that she wasn't educated properly?
That she didn't know any better, and that's why it happened.
Teenagers are dumb. Yeah.
My aunt, was also chastised for dating a black guy, but
Oh shit! I don't know about that, but no, not even touching that
Yeah,
one. I'm not
that's
gonna
a little
I'm not gonna
different.
touch that one. But like teenagers in general are dumb. Like, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I wonder if I was different. There's something I don't know. I consider myself lucky. I didn't experience a lot of the dumb things I think teenagers get through, because there is something to say about having an ideal. Like, no one can disagree waiting till marriage is the ideal, but also to know that teenagers are dumb and hormonal and they can't help themselves, and they're not really reasonable, rational people. They're just fucking hormonal freaks. Yeah.
freaks.
Like, it's something to have an ideal, but it's also more like, let's be more pragmatic and understand that, like, kids, when they're going through puberty, are not smart. They're
But you can't be that controlling. You have to give them some freedoms.
I know it's a difficult, that's a difficult one. Okay,
It's more education always better than no education.
Of course. It's just a question of who does it come from? Does it come from the parent or does it come from the school? I would agree
Yeah.
it's definitely not best to get it from school. I mean, not school. Television.
Maybe multiple perspectives is always good.
Which I don't think it should, but the problem is a lot of parents won't. As a woman, we're not taught a lot about our anatomy and our health as much as we should. I was
Bullshit. I was in 5th grade sex education, and they went in deep detail about the anatomy of men and women. I don't buy
yeah,
for
in 5th grade. Yeah,
that was
I
in and that was in the Key Peninsula. You know, man, that was like that's not fucking New York or wherever she's from, Los Angeles. You're gonna tell me she does not have the same sex education that I had? She was just like, what are these parts down below? The teachers say, don't ask stupid questions.
I had to go into detention my only time in elementary school for keeping one of the sex ed pamphlets and joking about it with my friends.
You went to detention, really?
I had to go to detention.
God damn. All right, but something. Okay.
No, so
I don't know what to say. I mean, so do you think that they shield that information from kids nowadays, or even like
I don't know about
even in our
nowadays.
days? I don't remember them shielding that information from me. I remember being taught vividly sex education.
Yeah, I think by the time that we had gone through our school, it was becoming more and more of a thing. Whereas maybe 15 years before us, it may have been a little bit more subdued.
Right. I would agree with that. Yeah. So, but this girl is supposedly 10 years younger than us. Well, she's 25, but posing as a 15-year-old. So we're gonna pretend that's so 15 years younger than us, but
something like that.
Yeah.
PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, with periods and that kind of stuff. We're not taught like what's normal, what's not normal. We're just taught you have one. I got hospitalized.
That I can believe with. I can believe a little more.
Because of my condition, because I didn't know about it. I wasn't taught about it. And I feel like there's more to sex education than just intercourse.
Do you think women need more sex education than men? I think there's a lot more going on with the women's reproductive system.
Yeah, I would agree. I think women definitely need more sex education than men.
Oh, it could be a controversial.
Is it like? I think men's sexuality is really fucking basic.
What about sex education as far as in the term of sexual preference?
Teaching like homosexuality to kids?
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do a unit on it. It's not. I mean, there's nothing. I don't know if you would want to shield kids from it. I see a lot of like what I would say indoctrination going on. Like, I don't want kids at a gay pride parade, because anyone who's been to a gay pride parade knows that those things are explicitly sexual. They're not really about the pride as much as they are about the sex.
I don't know. I've never been, but
I went to one and it was pretty adult themed. Let's just put it like that. And I just thought this is not a kid's place. I wouldn't want kids being here. But
I mean, in a sense, wouldn't it be overtly sexual because you're celebrating your sexuality?
Sure, but like, do you think there's a difference between two gay men who decide to be in a monogamous gay relationship with another because they love each other, and a gay guy who says, I'll fuck anyone anytime?
The thing I've heard about like gay relationships is there's still a lot of, extra relationship things that
I know, but like,
happen.
But that's my point is like, I mean, like you understand, can gay people strive for the ideal in the same way straight people can strive for the ideal? And I'll call myself really closed-minded in the sense that I think a 1v1, not versus, a monogamous relationship is the ideal. A long-term monogamous relationship is the ideal. I don't actually go along with this whole polyamory, polygamy, or like casual hookups, or it doesn't matter. I think that like we all should strive for the ideal.
Not much of an idealist, though.
What? No, it's a great ideal.
Like,
oh, hold up. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, there are ideals, but I've always kind of known that you kind of like, that's the ideal, but what do we have to act in, practicality?
Oh, well, I'm much more a live and let live person, but I don't disagree with the idea of an ideal. I think that we should all strive for the ideal, but if people deviate from the ideal, I think that's okay. I don't think they should be like imprisoned or discouraged from doing what they feel like. Maybe a little discouragement, but not like ostracization. Like, hey, you're not allowed to be around us, any sort of thing. Like imagine if I was a parent and we had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that kid got really sexually devious and they're just fucking everyone all the time. I wouldn't want to be the father who just basically says, "You're dead to me. I don't want you in my life anymore." I don't ever want to be that. I would always be like, "I think you're doing the wrong thing, and I really think you should reconsider your life. And I'm always welcome. We're always going to take you back in. But I think like you're doing the wrong thing." I would say like you would probably like want to basically discourage what they're doing, but not like ostracize them, not like shut them out. Does that make a little more sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to think, like, because not every kid's gonna grow up in an ideal situation, and so maybe if they are like gay and they happen to have a sex ed class that goes to a gay pride parade, it'd be an interesting trip. What and that helps them come to terms with their sexuality. Would that not be a good thing? Seeing that gay people can be happy and
I don't think the
celebrate.
gay pride parade would help them.
You don't think so?
No, because I as someone who's seen gay pride parades, they're not a celebration of monogamy. They're a celebration of sexual liberation, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. I think it's better to basically want to be with someone you love. And now, if the whole thing about gay pride really was just like we want to be with the one we love, I that's great. But in experience, I don't think that's what gay pride parade promotes. I think it's basically like it's much more sexual and less about love, in my experience.
Okay.
So no, because I think the gay pride parade, he's gonna say, okay, like he goes to a gay pride parade, he sees people like me are celebrated and they're accepted, but like I would say to that kid, like, okay, but like, is it good to be accepted if you're doing the wrong thing, like, or should you basically want to do better? And not necessarily the heterosexual thing. I don't give a shit about that. But the idea that, like, you should want to be with some one person. I am not, this is something I'm not pussyfooting around about. Like, I'll be completely straightforward with anyone who talks to me. Monogamy is superior to polyamory.
Okay.
That's one of my very core foundational beliefs. Monogamy is one of the most important things.
Okay. In the end, it's better than polygamy.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I mean, in gay relationships, it wouldn't be polygamy; it'd be polyamory, I guess. But like, or just I don't like the hookup culture.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Like, one of my deeply held beliefs is monogamy is actually important, and it shouldn't be discouraged. Not discouraged, but it should still always be the ideal. Now, if you don't want to do that lifestyle, fuck it, fine, do you. But at the same time, I think that we should still remain an ideal.
Okay. I think I know where you're coming from.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that what's preached to gay kids nowadays is monogamy, or do you think it's just more like authenticity? Just be yourself. It doesn't matter who that is.
I would probably say being authentic is probably preached more than monogamy. I think monogamy is still so much ingrained in the culture that I don't even know if it's ever been celebrated.
I don't think monogamy does get celebrated.
Because it's kind of a more, what's the word? Stoic? Maybe stoic is the right word. Stoic approach to.
To me, like, it's just like it's seen as too bourgeoisie or tame or blasé. It's too mainstream to be hip. It really is. I don't know, but like the idea that a gay man can't be with another gay man monogamously. What's the reasoning against that?
There's no reason, like.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you actually assess value towards someone's sexual relationships? Like, do you actually agree that monogamy is superior to polyamory, or do you see them all as equal?
I find.
No. It's a good question. Like, I'm really curious. Like, do you not care, Or like, do you think that there is more value in a monogamous relationship, or there's no difference between a monogamous relationship or a polyamorous? Or, real fun one, do you think a polyamorous relationship is superior to a monogamous relationship? Because there are people who believe that. I've talked to a few of them.
Mm-hmm. I would say a monogamous relationship would be superior, for me at least. For if I were to be in a polygamous or polyamorous situation, I think it'd be a little too stressed out.
But you're speaking
I don't think
for
I'd be
you.
able to focus as much on.
Yeah, but you're speaking for you.
On my life as much as I'd want.
But that's interesting what you said. It's like you said for you.
Yeah.
But that you could do whatever you think, anything you want, which is perfectly fine. But like, do you think that there's? Let's say you had two friends.
Okay.
One friend was monogamous. I don't care if it's gay or straight. They just were full on like, I'm going to be committed to this one person. And the other friend was like, I will have sex with whoever I want. Do you assess both those friends as like is one person doing the right thing and one person doing the wrong thing, or are they just basically both doing the same thing?
I think they're doing two different things, but they're two different like wired people.
Right. I would agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't say one's superior to the other.
Okay.
I mean, I know people that can't seem to be in a monogamous relationship. So
why do you think that is?
I too much sexual energy, or they just can't commit to being single, I guess.
Do you think this is more of a like self-promotion sort of thing? Do you think they'd want to come on and talk about these things?
I don't know anyone in a polyamorous relationship.
Oh, no, but maybe not polyamorous, but maybe they just do not see themselves in a monogamous, committed relationship. Like, they consider themselves maybe a lifelong bachelor, maybe?
Okay.
Do you have anyone like that? I mean,
I knew someone in the swinger culture that lived the lifestyle.
Okay, but it sounds like you were talking from someone you knew.
One of them passed away, so.
Oh, wow, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I don't really know anyone else who has been in multiple relationships at the same time, even in a hookup state.
You know what, Tina? It's a shame we didn't get further in this video because I know you had to leave early tonight.
Yep.
But I enjoyed this conversation. I mean, we kind of got off on the reeds on the whole monogamy, sex, education thing, but I thought it was a good conversation.
Yeah. If we ever actually made it through a whole one of these videos,
yeah, I know.
I still think we'd be in the same spots.
Same spots?
Oh yeah. I don't know if any of this has really changed their minds, but.
Oh, I don't think that I'm never trying to change anyone's mind.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can change your mind. I mean, well, I think that you can change your mind and I can change my mind, but I can't change your mind and you can't change my mind.
Yeah.
Like, you can show me.
That's the last thing you should be trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Right. I feel like you can show me like irrefutable proof. Like, hey, look at this, right here. This is proof you're wrong. And I'd be like,
here's a legal document saying.
Yeah. No, I think that like when you have a conversation with people, it's more about to get to know their perspective. It's more interesting that way.
So, can city teens and country teens see eye to eye?
I saw some common ground there.
Yeah, it seems like they did kind of at least understand their perspectives. They didn't seem too combative yet.
No, but I definitely want to hear more. I might. I don't know your schedule, but we could continue this video another time because whatever. You're much more of a busy guy than me, for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to find another part-time guy right now, and so
if only someone had offered.
Huh?
If only someone had offered.
Like 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh wow, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely not someone. That's definitely not. But
we're in that state.
I would want to hear more from Jeremy and from this girl. They seem to be the two most interesting people. And sorry I never learned your name. Glasses. Glasses is her name. Glasses, skinny jeans, ripped jeans, yellow blouse. Short
The
girl.
guy on the far right seemed very not city-esque. It seemed like he grew up in Salt Lake City.
That's a city. Does Salt Lake City not count?
I think it counts.
I
But
don't
it
know.
says he's from LA. He doesn't seem very LA.
We went to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, very cold and windy.
All right.
And the Salt Lake is not that close to the city.
We ran fucking far.
Yeah.
You remember? And then we found the puddle and we said, this is good enough. I remember that really well because
Yes.
it was really important that we actually swim in the Salt Lake, and it was like winter and it was fucking cold, but like it was really important to us, so we stopped on the highway and we just ran until we said, "Oh, can't be that far." We ran for like 10 minutes and we never got close.
We got soaking wet and then drove into Wyoming.
Good times. Those were good times. We should do a cross country trip again.
I know. I actually have something to talk about with you for next weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air here.
Okay. I'll hear about it. All right. We didn't get even halfway through the video, but I enjoyed the conversation, especially the part about sex ed.
Very true, very true.
It's good. It's interesting stuff, and it gets us the most views. Sex sells, baby.
Sex sells. Number 1, subscribe.
Yeah. So if you like this video, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe. We're a growing channel. We've added 2 new subscribers in the last month. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically just this.
Mm-hmm.
Tina and I discussing life and reacting to news and funny videos and such. Any final thoughts?
Stay safe, stay hydrated.
All right. And we love you. All right. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Peace.